Hello everyone, let us continue with the chapter Human Health and Diseases Part 12. Now we are going to learn about the helminthic infection called as Taeniasis, which is a neat portion. And this Taeniasis, it is caused by the cestode infection of intestines. So what is this cestode? It is caused by a tapeworm. It is caused by a tapeworm. So this taenia, which is a tapeworm, which causes Taeniasis. And when you just look at this taenia, there are two species of taenia. One is Taenia solium. T stands for taenia. The species name is solium. And here Taenia saginata. So what is the difference between these two here is, this Taenia solium, it is called as pork tapeworm. Taenia solium is pork tapeworm, whereas Taenia saginata is beef tapeworm. Okay, and this Taeniasis is common in countries where pork is eaten. And when you look at this tapeworm, it belongs to the phylum Platyhelminthes. Phylum Platyhelminthes, and then class Cestoda. That is why here you call this to be cestode infection. So it comes under the class Cestoda, and here family Taenidae by the name Taenia. So you can remember very easily Taenidae. Right? So these are the two species of taenia which causes infection in man. And their larvae are found in pig and cattle. That's what we have learned. Pig is pork and here cattle, it is beef. Okay, so it is found, Taenia solium is found commonly in pigs. So that is why here you call this to be pork tapeworm, and here it is cattle. So here you use the term beef tapeworm. And infection to man. So how does man gets infected? So it occurs from eating raw or improperly cooked pork. So if the pork is not cooked properly, any meat, here you can talk about any meat, even cattle's meat, right? If it is not cooked properly, in that case, so man can be very easily infected when they eat this improperly cooked food, right? And then other foods such as even vegetables it may be, right? They are getting contaminated. How? With infection larval stages. So what are these larval stages of this taenia? It is called as cysticercus. Cysticercus. So this larval stages, it is normally found in this cyst, right, which lives in the intestine. And normally what happens when you just look at the head of this taenia, you call that to be scolex, right, which gets attached to the intestinal wall. And when you look at the body of Taenia solium, it consists of a chain of segments. So these segments, you call it as proglottids. So this Taenia solium, it's actually ribbon-like flat appearance will be there. Ribbon-like flat appearance when you just look at the body of this Taenia solium, and the whole structure will consist of many segments, right? And when you just look at the size of the segments, it will differ. It will not be the same in the whole length of the body, whereas here and there the size of the segments will differ, right? And all these segments are called as proglottids, and this kind of segmentation where it differs in each area of the pseudo-metamerism. So what do you call this to be? Pseudo-metamerism. So we would have learnt about metamerism. If the body is divided into segments, that type of segmentation is called as metamerism. Whereas here, they differ in each and every region of the body, right? The segmentation differs. That is why here you use the term pseudo-metamerism or strobilization. Strobilization. And this whole body, when it is matured, it consists of full of eggs. The adult consists of full of eggs, and these eggs can be passed out in the feces. So these eggs are small and resistant, right? And if these eggs are ingested by the pig, right? So what are these eggs here? Worms. What did we learn? Taenia solium, right? So that is what pork tapeworm. What about cattle? It is beef tapeworm, Taenia saginata. So the embryo hatches from the eggs in the gut. It bores through the gut wall and migrates up to the muzzle. So when it is inside these cattle or pig, it will be inactive. So you have to understand here, this Taenia solium, to complete its life cycle, it needs two hosts. It needs two hosts. So what are the two hosts? So one is man here. So man is the primary host, or you use the term definitive host. Primary host or definitive host. Then what about these pigs or cattle? So here, example, if you take pig, pig will be the secondary host or intermediate host. Or intermediate host. Okay, right? So this Taeniasis, this tapeworm, it needs two hosts to complete its life cycle. So one is man, the other one is pig or cattle, right? So if man is the primary host, or you use the term definitive host, whereas pig you call that to be secondary host or intermediate host. So now what happens when it is here? In this case, this the larva will be inactive. So what happens here when beef, right? So when if it is not cooked properly, in that case, when normal man, when they ingest these type of improperly cooked food, what happens? This type of larvae, cysticercus, what we have learned, right? When it enters inside the intestine of man, it becomes active. So that is what you have to understand here. When it is here, it is inactive. When it goes inside the man, that is the primary host, when it enters inside the intestine of man, it becomes active. Next is, it can remain dormant for several months or even year until ingested by new host. So what is the dormant condition here? Actually, here the metabolic activity will become very less. Metabolism will be very less, right? That is why it remains dormant for several months or year until ingested by new host. It will be alive, but metabolic activity will be very slow, right? But eggs of Taeniasis and can develop into cysticercum in man, causing cysticercosis. Right? So here, when you look at the infection of man, this man is infected only when he eats the improperly cooked food, right? So which stage infects man? Which stage of the parasite? Okay, which stage of the Taeniasis is cysticercus? Okay, in that case, it causing what is the term called as cysticercosis. And the larvae or cysticerci may be found in most tissues, right? It infects liver and most dangerously in brain. One important point what you have to note here is, if it is present in brain, it causes damage such as blindness. So normally when you look at here, these larvae, they develop into adult tapeworms only in the intestine of man. The development takes place only in man. So these cysticercus, it develops into adult tapeworm. Okay, so after that the cycle continues, and then these stages of this Taeniasis, it is released through the feces of the human. When these feces are taken by cattle or pigs, so it is transmitted to the cattle or pigs. That is how the life cycle of Taeniasis continues, right? And how it can be treated, so here one such drug, what is used for the treatment here is niclosamide, anti-parasitic drug, which is used to control Taeniasis. Okay, so what is that anti-parasitic drug? Drug called as niclosamide to control Taeniasis. So what is the name of the anti-parasitic drug called as niclosamide? It is used to control Taeniasis. If you like this video, share, comment and subscribe my YouTube channel, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And the link is available in the description box. Thank you.